Hi there folks, my name is NovaWing24 and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop simulation news release and goings on from the week that was. Alrighty, we're getting started this week with a item I forgot from last week. So, I was notified by one of my viewers that I forgot a new release for the quietly not talked about sister of the simulation world, X-Plane 10. So sorry to all you X-Plane fans, I do apologize, I did miss this one, but it's back this week. So this last week we saw the release of the RVS-17 Fournier RF5B. Basically, this thing is got a fascinating history. Actually, I did a bit of reading on this as well as the sort of blurb about the aircraft. Basically, this thing was the forerunner of the modern day sports light aircraft category. This thing was it was designed in the early 1960s and produced through to 1975. The RF5B Sperber or Sparrow. It was essentially a redesignation and a redesign of an original RF series aircraft. Which essentially it's a tandem two-seat long-winged monoplane with a very light engine, and it doesn't need to go fast, but it's just there to be light. So it's really interesting, and sort of just has this thing of the whole it's really like the birth of a whole new era of aviation. So yeah, this has got a really interesting history to it, and you can actually now enjoy this history in X-Plane 10. So it is available now from Sim Market or from your favorite flight sim retailer. As far as I'm aware, it is not available for FSX or the ESP-based platforms. So this is a bit of a unique one for X-Plane 10, which is cool. So yeah, if you wanted to get a piece of history in the sports light aircraft category, then this is going to be one for you that you might want to pick up. Overall, looking, you're pretty not too bad as far as the aircraft design goes. Looks quite good, but you guys will have to let me know, for anybody who gets it, how it flies, because yeah, as I said, it's got a fascinating history, really interesting. So there you go. All right, so that's the thing that I missed from last week. Apologies again, X-Plane users, sorry about that. So let's carry on with the releases from this week just gone. Alrighty, so there was a release that went live like literally as the NovaWrap went live last week as well, so it was kind of like a bad week last week, wasn't it? Anyway, so the guys over at Iris Flight Simulation Software. So Iris Simulations, they've been quiet. They've sort of been releasing a few images and stuff of things they're working on, but they haven't seen release from them for a little while. But with that, drought has now been broken with the release of their rendition of the Pilatus PC-24 versatile jet. So the PC-24 is a new concept from Pilatus, where basically they're looking at essentially they've sort of grabbed the idea that Honda had with their very light jet concept, and they've sort of run with it and combined it with the utility of their PC-12 design, and basically it's kind of like a PC-12 but with jets. So it's designed to be a very multifunctional aircraft that is perfectly suited from being a business jet through to being a CASEVAC transport, to being an aeromedical platform, to being just a general all-round, all-purpose sort of like almost like a mini regional jet. So it's designed to be very versatile, and hence why they gave the designation small versatile jet. So it's a really interesting concept. I'm really intrigued to see how it's going to go, and it's actually the real aircraft is rated for single pilot operation as well, out of rough fields. So that's a big deal for a jet to be able to operate out of rough fields. That's a pretty big deal. So yeah, it's a really good looking rendition. Now look for a review of this aircraft coming from me very, very shortly. I've been putting some hours into it just to get some time up on it and get some experience with it. So look for a review of this one coming up very shortly on the channel. But in the meantime, if you do want to grab it, you can grab it either directly from Iris, from their website, or from your favorite flight sim retailer now. In other aircraft releases for the ESP platforms, we saw the guy for Aussie Ant. So Aussie Ant, he's a really great guy. Like, he really is. I've got a huge amount of respect for him. Aussie Ant's most famous for his scenery work, releasing a lot of really high quality freeware scenery, being a great contributor to the Aussie X scenery world as well. But he does also produce quite a few aircraft as well, so he's a mixture of both pay and freeware. He's released his latest aircraft, one that's been in the works now for at least 18 months that I'm aware of. I remember seeing some early development shots of this one around about 18 months ago. So this is the Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation Wingeal. So for those British viewers, you may think that this may look like a Provost. It essentially was designed to the same specifications. So the Royal Air Force and the Royal Australian Air Force believed in the immediate post-war era that the training was going to need to be done on piston engine aircraft on something that's very easy, very stable and reliable for students and instructors to operate alike. And also they were looking at doing some cost savings by essentially training two pilots at once, where you would have an instructor and a trainee pilot in the front, and then you would have a second trainee pilot, or even potentially two trainee pilots and the instructor behind, actually monitoring the flight. So it was done as almost like a resource management sort of exercise. So there were requests for proposal were issued by both the Royal Air Force and the Royal Australian Air Force for a 2 to 3 seat piston engine trainer. For the British, what that became into was the Provost, but ironically, and for the Australian Air Force, it was the Commonwealth Aircraft Corporation Wingeal. They literally look identical. If you actually compare the three views of both aircraft, they look pretty much identical. Now, while the Provost in the UK didn't serve for that very long and did transition onto jet trainers with the Jet Provost and eventually the Strike Master, the Australian one would soldier on for many, many years, a lot longer. So the Wingeal was the Royal Australian Air Force's primary piston trainer from 1955 all the way through to 1975, when it was replaced by the New Zealand Aircraft Corporation CT4 Air Trainer. But it would actually remain in service, active service with the Royal Australian Air Force well into the 1990s, when it was actually used as a forward air control aircraft, as a ground spotter for and liaison aircraft between the RAAF and the Australian Army. So it actually served in a combat frontline role well into the 90s, which is a really cool story for an aircraft that was designed in the late 1940s and early 50s. So that's really, really cool. So there you go. But yes, this is an absolutely amazingly detailed rendition of this aircraft, available now from Ant's, from your favorite flight sim retailer. Check it out. His quality of his work is amazing, and especially, and maybe even have a look at some of his other aircraft, including the T-28 Trojan. Love that aircraft. Anyway, so yes, available now from your favorite flight sim retailer. Alrighty, continuing on in other releases this week. So moving on to scenery releases this week. So we saw the guys from Aerosoft have released their latest thing for this time. So this is from the Simwings developers. So this is a Malaga X. So Malaga is the busiest airport in the Spanish region of Andalusia, which is a popular holiday destination. And it gives you actually a very, very distinctive in its Spanish architecture as well. And it also covers not just you just get the airport, but you also get the entire city of Malaga as well, with beautifully detailed satellite imagery combined with custom autogen and hand placed correct autogen as well. You get the amazingly high detailed airport. You've got over 180 square kilometers of high resolution satellite images as well, with a changeable scenery seasons as well, which is great to see. We've got night lighting included. You've got animated jetways with the SODE and default as well, and all the updated and everything, updated positions of everything as we come to expect from a high quality project from Aerosoft and the Simwings development team. So there you go. Just to note though, for those of you who may be using DX10, you may have some issues. Some of the models built into it are only compatible if you do use the DX10, Steve's DX10 fixer. So just be aware of that if you are a DX10 fan. For me personally in FSX, I will just stick with DX9 because that's what it's supposed to be run on, so I'll be sticking with that. But anyway, and you also get your charts and configuration tools included as well. So looking quite spectacular. Available now from Aerosoft directly or from your favourite flight sim retailer. Alrighty, moving away from the world of flight simulation at the moment. Well, moving away from sort of the established flight simulators. So I guess when I see a title come on Steam for less than $1, and it comes on a launch special of 40% off to bring it down to 60 cents, I suppose I shouldn't be expecting a great deal from a title. So we've saw the release of Operation Global Shield, where you take on the role of an F-35 combat wing and do various arcade-style missions. So it's not a simulator; it's an arcade game with apparently lasers firing from your F-35. I think potentially this title possibly offers better value than the actual real F-35 aircraft as well, and that's really not saying much. So yeah, it's pretty horrendous. If you're expecting a simulator for 99 cents, then you're probably gotta get what you expect. For the rest of us, I would generally suggest that looking at the horrifying graphics, we'll probably look at this one and go, I'll go and get an extra cup of coffee instead of investing in this one. But if for whatever reason you do want to invest into it, it is available now on Steam for the release launch special of 40% off for 60 US cents, or goes back up to $1 US soon. You know what? If you buy this, can you send me the other 40 cents? Seriously, just throw the other 40 cents my way to the channel to help support videos. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so that wraps up that one there. So continuing on with simulation release news for this week. So we saw from the going into the permanent way. So for the guys who enjoy their permanent way, so for Dovetail Games Train Simulator 2016. We saw a brand new line and a route added on this week. So this is the Albula line. So this is the St. Moritz to Theseus line. So this route goes through some absolutely breathtaking landscapes. It really does. Going through the beautiful Swiss Alps, and mountains in the Swiss Alps especially are incredibly difficult to capture in any game engine. And the screenshots for this one look like they've captured it quite reasonably well, if somewhat with some repetitive textures here and there, especially during the snow seasons. But it still looks like it's captured the actual breathtaking, just depth of scenery quite well. So this line has got a very interesting history through it, where there was a lot of issues getting supplies and people up into the Alps, and of course it was then brought into the idea that the state would actually build a railway and actually build a railway through the Albula Valley via Theseus and into St. Moritz. So this is the standard gauge railway that actually the narrow gauge railway that goes between these two places, and goes through, but it was actually restricts itself, and what makes it interesting in its design. So it's restricted to a 3.5% gradient, with a fairly generous turning radius, which actually means that it actually goes through some interesting sort of building challenges, and actually then makes it an interesting thing for us to actually experience with this one as well. So looking pretty interesting. Now you do get a couple of locomotives with this one as well. You get a G443, which is an electric locomotive as well as a Glacier Express passenger vehicles, and a little bit of freight haulage company liveries as well. So 12 locomotives were actually built in for the real one of this one. So you get this one beautiful locomotive, along with various different vehicles and flat wagons and all sorts of stuff as well, and dynamically changing sort of seasonal, not only seasonal changes of the terrain, but also seasonal changes of the rolling stock as well, which is kind of cool. Huge number of custom detailed models and signaling systems in this one, and just looking absolutely incredible as well. Comes with quite a few different scenarios as well. So you get 7 driver scenarios for the route. A free roam scenario where you can actually just sort of freely go drive along the. Is it driving when you're holding a train? Is it driving? I don't know. think it is. Driving it as a sort of just a free form, we can go wherever you like scenario. You've also got three railfan mode scenarios and one where you can actually be a passenger. You can actually just board and be a passenger for a train, which is actually a I think that's a really cool idea, and I think more should be done like that. I like the idea of just being in a passenger and actually enjoying the scenery that is in a simulation. I think it's one of those things that's that I love about doing the flight sim videos and other videos like that, because you actually get to enjoy and see some of the sceneries that you sometimes might miss as a pilot. But anyway, so yes, this is available now. So is it available now for owners of Delphi Games Train Simulator? Available now on Steam. Alrighty, continuing on in other releases for this week. So Cities Skylines. Cities Skylines, it's been out a while, but this is a latest piece of official DLC for this one. So this is the Art Deco content pack. So this provides a whole set of new buildings in the Art Deco style. So that sort of Chrysler building, New York, in 30s. The 1930s-esque design philosophies. Looks absolutely cool. I really love that Art Deco style for buildings. Not so much for interiors, but for building design, I really do love it. Now, this includes 6 new residential buildings, 6 new commercial buildings, and 3 unique buildings as well. And the unique buildings include the Eddie Cavango, Panoa Street, and the Majesty Hotel. So it's looking pretty cool, and from the screenshots, it just really sits in with like a retro style. And as I said, I like the Art Deco style of building. I really do. Again, not so much the interior, but the exterior. And it's interesting that it's actually receiving a bit of a reboot in real life as well. There's just near me in the real world, there's been a couple of new places, new cafes, and ice cream parlors popping up in this Art Deco style, which is really cool and really exciting. So yeah, anyway. So yes, for those of you who own City Skylines and want to add a bit of Art Deco flair to your cities, this can be grabbed now for $5 or your regional equivalent from Steam. Alrighty, and wrapping up the simulation release news for this week, we've got Farm Expert 2017. So this comes from Silden Simulations and published by Playaway Simulations. So this one's an interesting one. So Farm Expert's another one of those sort of farm series, and sort of like the lesser known brother of the farm sort of simulation genre. But this one's looking quite interesting as well. They've rebooted a lot of the stuff under the hood this time around, and they've also got a lot more actual licensed products have been slotted into this one. So we've got a whole heap of licensed manufacturers in here, including Kuhn, Grimm. I think these look like they're all German ones, I think, or European ones. Krampe, Pottinger, Rauch, Lundy, McCormick. This probably means more to people who play farming type games more than I do. But there's a whole huge list of licensed material, licensed machines in here, more than just the 2 or 3 that we get with Farming Simulator. And it gives you it gives full modding support, which is good as well. I think very important for community engagement. But what intrigues me about it is the fact that it's got a soil physics element to it. So you actually have to sort of work the field in 3 dimensions. So you can actually get stuck in ruts and stuff if you're not careful and don't work the soil right. That actually poses an interesting little scenario. I'm intrigued by it, and I hope to get a chance to look into this title a bit more, because that just really intrigues me, particularly if it's combined with the realistic driving physics that are in there as well. So yeah, it could be interesting. So there you go. Anyway, so if you're looking at expanding into your farming experience and want to try something new while you're waiting for Farming Simulator to come out, this might be one of those that might be worth a try. So Farm Expert 2017 available now on Steam. We're currently on a launch special, normally $20 currently $18 as part of a launch special, available now on Steam. Alrighty, folks. Well, that does wrap up the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, before I go, I do want to have a quick reminder to you all of the fantastic and really, really exciting event that's coming up in later in September. So, as you know, as I announced on the channel a few weeks ago, there is Flight Angels 2016 is coming on. Now, it's been hailed as the flight sim event of the decade, which is a very bold statement to make, but you know, from the schedule and the things that I know about it and what I'm seeing, and really more importantly, the actual cause that it's actually for is really, really exciting, and I really hope you guys get behind it. So for those of you who might have missed the video, I'm going to pop a link into it here so you can go and have a look at it. And also, don't forget to check out the website. But basically, there's a whole heap of flight simulation YouTubers and simulation YouTubers, including myself, including Froogle, including BelGeode, including Catstrator. We're all getting together, and a whole heap more. We're all getting together, and we're going to be streaming for 24 hours straight. So we're going to be jumping on. We're going to be taking a flight that's going to encompass the whole globe in various different flight simulation platforms. We're going to be joined by a huge number of special guests, including a real-life U.S. Air Force pilot who actually took to Doug Champagne, who actually was part of the Combat Air Patrol over in America on September 11. We're going to have members of the Concorde crew is going to be coming on board and speaking with us. We're going to have members of the Tuskegee Airmen. They're going to be coming in and having a chat as well. And the best thing is that this is all to raise money for charity. So there's a whole heap of really, really amazing charities, part of the Over the Wall and the Serious Fun Network are going to be here. These guys support sick kids who just to give them a break from all the medical devices and all that kind of stuff, to give them a break and actually get them, let them have some fun, because that's a really important part of being a kid and a really hard thing to be able to have as a kid when you're a sick kid. So it's a really great set of charities. We're also going to be supporting Visions of Flight as well, which aims to bring educational aviation and engineering opportunities to children, mostly in the US at the moment, but hopefully going to expand in the world as well. So we're going to be raising money for these charities. So you can watch us stream live. There's going to be a whole heap of giveaways from some great developers as well. Look, you can jump on, find out more about it at flight-angels.com. You can see the schedule. You can see some of the information about some of the routes and some of the places we're going to be visiting. You can donate there, and I please, I encourage you all to share this on your social media networks. Get the support out there, and come and join us for this absolutely fantastic live stream as well. So this is going to be happening on September 16 and 17, so 16 in the US, so it's going to kick off September 17, so 2300 on 2300 Zulu, that's midnight British summertime, on the 16th 17th, and run for 24 hours, so it's a solid 24 hours of streaming. It's looking like I'm going to be streaming probably around about 4 or 5 hours over the course of the 24 hours, and more information on that will become available once we nail the schedule down. But as I said, it's going to be such an amazing event. It's going to be a whole heap of YouTubers. There's going to be events happening throughout the full 24 hours. So please come and join us. Donate for this to this amazing set of charities. It's going to be awesome. Alrighty, that does now wrap up the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these videos and want to see more. And of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.